Girls. Greetings, everybody. It's me, Patricia Cori. I think I'm pissed. So I'm going to try to be peaceful and loving in Hare Krishna and not express my pissedhood. Because, I've been posting. Well, let me wait a minute here. Let's see if anybody's listening. Is anybody out there? Please say hello so I know I'm not talking to space. Oh, that's a bad word now. It's a glorious sunny day here. Thank God we've been having storms up the wazoo and now the sun is out. Hey, Kim, thanks for coming in. I'll get started in a minute. Boy, it must be early where you are. Come on, sisters, come on in. Hi, Monique. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry about the background noise. That's my dogs. My puppy Pepper was quite sick yesterday, so I don't mind if she's up and being rowdy. Just glad she's better. Good morning, Tina. Thanks for coming in. All right, I'll get started. We are few, but wonderful. So I'm posting a lot about the Antarctica debacle. And today, a self-appointed Galactic Federation guy named Tom Seaford told me to shut up. You could just shut up on my own Facebook page because I dared to challenge the narrative. Hi, Dorothy. Hi, Decorite. And, I thought, well, what kind of Galactic Federation higher consciousness being would tell someone to shut up for not agreeing with their idea, report, channel that evildoers have been flown down to willingly, not in chains, flown down to the darkest place on the planet, supposedly Antarctica, to be surrendered by dark beings to good ETs who are going to eject them into space so that we don't have to deal with them anymore. And wouldn't I love that to be true? So for starters, to this Tom character, I say, shame on you, shame on you. Because if that's where we are at in this, whatever community we want to call ourselves, where if you don't agree with the storyline, you are ejected immediately, disregarded, and no doubt slandered. I could just imagine what he's going to put out because I dared to say, I question this narrative. And so for questioning that, I got my knuckles wrapped. So we're not allowed to talk about much of anything because the cabal will slap us. And we're not apparently allowed to speak of anything that disturbs the going narrative in the call it truther community. So in essence, unless you just keep talking about understanding and being one with the guru and agreeing with everything, your voice is no longer tolerated. Well, I got news for these people. I will continue to stand for the voice of reason, to question everything. It's not doubting everything. It's questioning it, questioning these sources that are blowing people left and right and all over the road so nobody knows what to believe anymore. And in fact, a lot of people are saying, I don't know what to believe anymore, Patricia, so I'm just going to sit here and breathe. And it's like, good. But meanwhile, while we're not believing or not trusting, let's try to get some facts going. It's so much more entertaining for the reasoning mind to have a few of those. Jesus. I can't believe this dude said, shut up. Oh my God. If this is where we are, I just don't know what to say anymore. I think I should just go back to silently enjoying my privacy and let the world go into meltdown. I mean, let our communities go into meltdown. But it's because those of you who are listening still care enough to listen, to think, to reason, that I'm still putting my voice out here. Otherwise, as I watched it's not even bifurcation. It is just the intolerance level. It's the, I know reality that, everything I say, I always suggest, it appears, it may be, I think, let's consider, no, this is the way it is. We've got these four critters down in Antarctica. They're going to be whisked off, they're blown away. Apparently, they're just going to be ejected into space, never to be seen again, never to be dealt with again in our reality. I want criminals to face their justice here. I want to see it unfold here. And these same people that are of the Galactic Federation, self-proclaimed, I might add, what happens when we have this imminent alien arrival? Who was it I spoke to about this? I can't remember which interview I did, where we said, okay, so they're setting up the alien attack arrival. That is the last card. We're seeing right now the alien ET, whatever you want to call it, reality being unfolded. The other day we were told definitely there's water on Mars. Geez, you think? Funny that. And who was it? I can't remember. A very bright person. We were talking about the alien drama unfolding, and he suggested, what if instead of having an attack scenario, we have, like, the classic ET arrival and they blast the hell out of everything. We have a situation where we're presented with kind of good ETs that are here to help us get into the Galactic Federation, undo our evil deeds, meet their standards, and be allowed into the Galactic Federation. That is much more dangerous, isn't it? I mean, if you're getting attacked, openly attacked, you may not have the weapons to fight back, but at least you're dealing with. But if we have, let's call in some character actors in masks, or even some not so nice ETs who proclaim to be good ones, and suddenly we're presented with, excuse me, girls. Suddenly we're presented with this scroll of what it's going to take for humankind in their behavior, in our planetary adjustment, to be allowed into the Galactic Federation. And suddenly we've got this, talk about omnipotent administrators. I mean, so when I look at people like this and other people who have been giving me shit about what I have to say about this so-called exit from planet Earth of the four doers of evil, I wonder if it's going to be that easy to believe that. To the point, you believe it to the point that you're attacking me for suggesting that there might be another story to it, then holy doodle, what's going to happen when we get this alien arrival scenario unfolding? And I really think that, that is their last card. Because let me iterate. I also agree that the dark side, the cabal, is on its last legs. I do. And I want to see it unfold. I want us, the human race, to take them down, not for them to be whisked off and then, aliens saved us once again. I'm so tired of this bullshit. Sorry. Yes, it might have been Brad Olson, Zoe. I don't remember. And sorry for me using swear words, but I'm really, Italian in this moment. Hot fever, emotional Italian. So here's the deal. You may recall years ago, I was talking about cryptocurrency and XRP and Ripple. Oh, thanks. It's the olive oil. I was talking about Ripple and XRP, and I bought some, not a lot, but I bought some. Okay. And in that time, I was examining and studying these characters, Brad Garlinghouse and David Schwartz, because David Schwartz is the chief technological officer for Ripple, and Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO. Okay. And I was investigating them, and lo and behold, I find out that David Schwartz used to work for the NSA. So that's questionable already. But they are at the fulcrum. This company, Ripple, is at the fulcrum of the switch from fiat currency to digital, the digital system, right? And even though XRP gets poo-pooed by people that are buying Bitcoin, all this stuff, there's always a war somewhere. So there's a war between the Bitcoin people and the XRP people. And the XRP that never seems to go forward. And I've always told people it's not progressing because it's being withheld until they're ready. Because this company, Ripple, their premise was that they were going to work with the financial system, whereas Bitcoin and others claimed they were, innovating against the financial controls of the system to bring in a new system. And I was like, yeah, right. You are going to circumvent the existing monetary system on this planet? I don't think so. I'm going with the Brad Garlinghouse crew that are going to work with the banks to install an alternative system, even though I don't celebrate the central bank, but I think that's a key for success versus the alternative, right? That's a debate we can have for another day. Hi, Eleanor. Thanks for coming in from Barbados. Hi, Marcia. Same to you. So with this whole debacle about these 4 people going down to Antarctica, which I am not even sure happened, we have no proof it even happened, to be whisked off by good aliens. No, good aliens, that's right. So in other words, the evil core root structure of evil that we are told and understand exists in the underground or under ice of Antarctica is going to turn over some of their key players to these aliens to eject them out of here as their punishment. Is that it? Or to facilitate their escape to go do some damage somewhere else. Very weak storyline, sorry, but I know there's a channel out there that claims to know it all firsthand. Rather, what I'd like you to think about is that, and what I've been trying to write, but apparently isn't going into people's brains, is that David Schwartz created created XRP, which is the monetary system or the currency, let's call it, that Ripple is working with. And Brad Garlinghouse have been massaging all the top players since the get-go. Brad Garlinghouse has been the right arm, at the right hand of Christine Lagarde, who is a very questionable individual. And David Schwartz, he worked for the NSA. So isn't it just possible, if in fact they have gone to Antarctica, because David Schwartz, they've been tweeting that they're going to Antarctica. Okay, that could be a code word as far as we know it. But no, everybody just gloms onto it and suddenly it's this big new age mystery. Isn't it just possible that Antarctica is a code word? Going to Antarctica, we're going to Antarctica. Okay, that like Project Antarctica. And David, and sorry for stumbling, Brad Garlinghouse yesterday said, we always knew that we'd be moving forward when it was time to flip the switch. And that time is now. So I don't see why he'd be talking about flipping the switch if he's getting ready to be ejected to planet Zargon. My suggestion, without wanting to create enemies that are going to tell me to shut up, just sit down and shut up. Light workers, higher dimensional beings, 5D consciousness beings. Sit down and shut up. Boy, I really don't take well to somebody telling me to shut up. Anyway, I digress. So isn't it just possible that going to Antarctica is a code word for all of these players to know that they're getting ready to flip the switch? I don't know if they've really been to Antarctica or not. I don't buy. Sorry, Galactic Federation. I don't buy the story that they're being ejected off the planet. And I don't want them to. I want any criminal that has acted against humankind to face justice here, for humankind to rise up and make sure that happens. I don't want them ejected off the planet, to be honest. And besides, there'll be an army more of them. Four key players in the monetary system, by the way. And so what does that accomplish? Ask yourself that question. What really does that accomplish? So somebody will say, well, it's a warning to the rest of the cabal that they're all going down. Or not. Or it is a code word. Antarctica is being put into play, right? That's what I think. And when Brad Garlinghouse says we've been waiting to flip the switch, and that time is now. What I'd like to tell you guys is keep your eyes open instead of buying into this idea that they're gone. Let's see what other cabal, horrible people we can eject off the planet. How about if we pay attention to what these dudes are doing? Is this really the time when they're going to do the great reset? The fact that reptilian Santa Claus is involved reeks big time that this is code and that's what's up. You know, I hate to disturb anybody's paradigm by bringing in a few facts. And I'm so sorry if you're glued to the Galactic Federation to the point where you can't think about these kinds of possibilities and tell me to shut up. However, I think we are really at the point that they're going to flip the switch. And so in a calmer voice, you're free. We're all free to believe what we want to believe. And a lot of people want to believe in the, I don't want to offend the people that are bringing forward that information because I honor them and they believe that, and that's fine. I don't. So it will inevitably be determined by what comes out next. The fact that Christine Lagarde did a press release yesterday for the European Bank doesn't seem to bother anybody or in that paradigm mindset. It's like, oh, well, it's probably a clone. Yeah, it's easier to believe that these 4 people were whisked off the planet going through Antarctica instead of just being shot. I mean, why didn't they just assassinate them? But that's another discussion for another day. But no, they were whisked through the dark resources of Antarctica because there's a portal. God help us. What I think is happening and what I think we're going to see unfolding is that they're now really they're at that apex moment where they're going to flip the switch. They're telling us, Brad Garlinghouse said, we're ready to flip the switch. And, you know, as a person who bought some of this XRP, I've been waiting a long time to see it go to rise, supposedly rise into the astrosphere as far as it's worth. I think that him telling us we're ready to flip the switch. Wait, hold on, I'm reading a comment. And then we get this Antarctica code word, and Christine Lagarde tweeted, I'm going to Antarctica. I'm on my way to Antarctica. It's like code, 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 code. Please, people, look deeper. Look deep. And watch the things unfold now. I think it's going to be very, very important. This end of the year scenario. I've been warning people about making sure you've got some cash out of your bank. Some of us don't have money in the bank, so it's not an issue. But I think that it's very possible, and I'm obviously can be wrong. Get some money out of the bank so that if they flip the switch, you've got something to fall back on. Get some silver and gold if you can. I promised I would do a talk on silver. I promise you I'll do that in the next few days. Bearing in mind I'm no expert, I'll just give you my personal amateur experience of being able to buy a little silver. Every month I buy a little silver. And I mean little, but I do it so that I've got a little bit of a hedge, and it's part of my preparation mentality Thank you, Decker. I'm doing my best. Good for you, Erlen. So yeah, my take on what's going down is that maybe they went to these four people, Klaus being one of the most dangerous people on the planet, Christine being one of the most influential people on the planet in the monetary realm, uh, Brad Garlinghouse being at the helm of this crypto digital transformation. The banks are ready to go. If you do your homework, which I do, they've got over 450 banks set up with Ripple software to make this transition. Hello, do we really think that these guys are just going to get on a plane and just be whisked off to another planet or galaxy far, far away? I really worry sometimes about our community, the community of people who are awake, or are we? Anyway, I'm letting out all this energy. And what I want to tell you all is I think it's coming very soon now. So I've been doing a lot of prepping, and I've been sharing as much as I can about that. See what you can do to question. Like, remember when I did I'm always doing dehydrating, but I did that. I think I did a video about it. Yeah. And I'm still dehydrating. I'll be dehydrating until I die because I just enjoy it. Watching my food shrink down and knowing that it can be stored for long term. The truck drivers are telling us they're going to stop driving in January. I mean, the information is available, but no, most people don't want to believe it. They want to believe in a higher authority and the universe has this and yada, yada. And my answer to that is, you know what? Make sure you've got a plan B if the universe has another idea. Melanie says, I worry too about this awake community. Have somewhat withdrawn as a result, as they are more lost at times than the sheep. Well, it's so true. And I do contemplate withdrawing. I really do, because I don't need the aggravation. I do not need the aggravation. Pat Cori World is a glorious place where I manage to keep going in positivity and creativity and doing what I think are the right things to manage life in this time of duress. But I keep coming because there are you here, and people tell me it helps, and people tell me I give them strength and whatever. But to be told to shut up, that really just grates. And I'm sure there are others. I can just imagine the backlash from me daring to question the narrative, daring to challenge. And I'm not even stating, I'm questioning the narrative. Apparently, that's not appropriate in the awake community. So, my question is, awake? Awake? Don't think so. So anyway, I came here to sort of share this, to a little bit vent it, and a little bit to explain why I keep putting this information out there. So, summary. I think Antarctica is a code word for all operations go to the fleet in the cabal, the dark players, the puppets, the top brass, which is surely Klaus. And Christine is an important chess player. And so is Brad. And so is David Schwartz, who, I repeat, worked for the NSA. And they set up this system. By the way, there's a lot of rumors going around that David Schwartz might be Satoshi, Yakamoto Satoshi, I think that's his name, supposedly the guy who invented Bitcoin. Personally, I think it was the government that did it. It happened right after 2008, the debacle of 2008. Suddenly we've got this mysterious Satoshi, who comes up with this alternative system. And we've never known who he is. We never know if it's a group of people. We don't know. He's lost in ambiguity. Yeah, I think it might very well be a very different design. And that David Schwartz, having worked for NSA as a technological advisor at least, may have his hand in that. So keep your eyes, open your minds to the possibility of what I'm saying. Know that it's not going to change my life one way or another if a Tom Seabird or whatever his name is thinks I should shut up or not, because I won't. But that my intent is to remain grounded. I'm a grounded psychic. And I have my own psychic impressions, by the way, and I have my own galactic source that I trust, that I never put forward as the truth. I simply share, when appropriate, what those messages are. But it's never the truth. It's always, even in my books, it's the truth as I understand it. It's the truth as I interpret it, right? Because anybody who declares to know the truth unabashedly, there's one way, and it's my way, and if you don't agree with it, shut up. Enlightened people, right? So watch this thing, this Antarctica thing with discernment, and know that I believe, again, I choose to use words like that. I believe we may be looking at the flipping of the switch, and that's what the great reset, like you reset a computer, that's what it's all about. And if that's true, and we're coming to some kind of apex, then you're going to want to double up on your food prep, get some cash out of the bank. Personally, I think it's a really good idea to have I just going to finish this thought and reply to Tina's wonderful comment. To have 6 months of expense money in cash in your house. I know it's not easy. And some people, we don't even, we live month to month. But I've been trying to put away things that I've never done in my life. I've never had a portfolio. I just kind of live, not worrying about it. But now I'm being very clear, very organized about the things that I think are going to help me get through this great reset. And one of them is having some cash. Like I said, 6 months. Let's just say that the bank closes. You can't access your money. Because in the great reset of switching from fiat money to a digital system, banks probably going to close, maybe permanently. But in the interim, you're going to want to have some cash available. I mean, tomorrow they can go, it's happened on Cyprus. Was it Cyprus? Yeah. People go to the bank in the morning, sorry, the banks are closed. When they opened, they had taken 10% of their money out to help, what was it called? To help the financial crisis. Close the bank, deny people access to the money, wake up next couple of days, reopen, and you've wiped out 10% of their money. It happened to me in Italy way back when. I woke up one day and the government had declared that the bank was going to take, was it 2%? 2% of our money in the bank as some sort of retroactive, so that you couldn't fight it or pull your money out for some tax they decided we had to pay. Yeah, it was Cyprus. Thanks, Dorothy. Dorothy says my friend lost 250K in that one, right? So if you think it can't happen, just go do your homework. Like I said, facts are helpful. Hate to disturb anybody's paradigm with a few facts, but it's there. I just want to read what Tina Gabriel said. She said, enlightened people welcome all perspectives. Exactly. You don't have to, digging your heels into a belief system means, in my humble opinion, that you are not enlightened, because you're locked in. You've chosen the way you're going to believe, and God forbid anybody interferes with that belief system. What happened? When did we stop talking to each other? I've been trying to keep a forum going on on this Facebook and wherever else I can to keep a balance between this, let's call it new mind, new thought, new age idealism, and reality. Nobody seems to want to be grounded in reality. Well, sorry. Never like now do we need to grab onto the earth, dig our heels into this earth, and stay focused enough to try to weather the insanity that's coming at us. And like I said in one of the tweets that in one of my posts that got me told to shut up. Oops, I forgot what I was going to say. I do that. Oh, just buying into whether it's a positive idea or whether it's the cabal disturbing us with dark ideas. We need to be able to examine everything. God, I just don't know. I should have been a prima ballerina. I was too tall. All right, guys. So anyway, okay, I'm going to close now. I mean, I don't really want to close because there's a lot of you out there and I love your comments. And let me read some of them. Jane, hi, Jane. She says, hi, darling. I've known you 30 years and you have never told, whoops, where'd it go? Anyone what to believe. Inky? Don't know what that means. To open their minds to the possibility. Love you so much. I love you back, Jane. Thanks for the comment. Thank you, Carmel. Love back to Crete. Oh, there's Shauna. Thanks, sis. Thanks for sis star. Oops, we're not supposed to say that either. Anyway, you guys, thanks for listening. I guess now's a good time to announce that I'm going to do, again, this New Year's Eve. I'm going to do my New Year's Eve's, let me get a good title for it. New Year's Eve singles Zoom bash for people that are alone on New Year's Eve. I will be. And so I'm going to set up a Zoom room like we did last year. We had a blast. I mean, I drank an entire bottle of champagne by myself. They're smaller now than they used to be, of course, but still. And I didn't even get a buzz. But we were on, I'll be planning this for 11 p.m. my time, which is 7 p.m. New York time. So it's not going to be New Year's Eve for everybody, but that's a good time to try to get as many people in as possible. And I can only stay awake until probably 1 or 2 in the morning. So if you want to be involved, I will post the Zoom link on Facebook. It's open to everybody. And, don't be alone on New Year's Eve. Last year we toasted each other. We talked about everything. We laughed. We just had a great time. So I'm going to do that again and be together. Melanie says, great. We'll open the Zoom on my computer home. Yeah. Oh, good girl, Melanie. Yeah. Let's do this together. Yeah, great, Caitlin. It was good. We had fun. I remember I was up until like 3 in the morning going, okay, guys, I really got to go now. And I don't feel very Christmassy this year. Last year I went for it because it's in honor to my mother that I put up a tree because she loved Christmas so. But this year I just don't have the spirit. It's like I just don't feel like going through the actions. So, but New Year's Eve, it's the beginning of a new year. And oh my God, in January, I am hitting the big number that I dread. I'm not going to even mention it. I don't want to give power to it. January is my birthday. And this is another decade, the beginning of a new decade, old fart decade. So every new year, oh, that surprises me, Dorothy. You, of all people, I would think your house was all lit up. Yeah, it just seems like such a false pretense at the moment. I just can't go through the motions. You can't be with your family. Not that I have family close. You can't dine together. It's just like, what's the point? So there's no spirit here. And that's okay. It's okay not to have it. Hopefully next year will be better. In the meantime, thank you for listening. I feel better now that I let that out. And I will be back soon. I will do a YouTube, by the way, in case you haven't heard. They wrapped my knuckles. So I have to be a little more careful than I already was. I'll be doing that silver video. In the meantime, I keep saying in the meantime, get yourself some silver. There are online, I have an online company that delivers it. And I'm not talking about silver certificates. Get the real deal, the actual silver. Get some small coins or even junk silver. But it's a good idea to have some. Let's say there's no money around, right? Silver will always, silver and gold. Somebody called it God's money, which is kind of an oxymoron. But it's something that you'll be able to trade if you need to. And it's probably going to explode in value. Okay? Get your food stocks. Good, Caitlin. So do I. Get your food stocked up. Get your dehydration. I can't believe how much food I'm stocking up in here, and more every day. Every day I dehydrate. And water and all the goodies. And just know that these dudes are talking about flipping the switch. And they have the tools to do that. And Klaus Baby is the dude who says when and how. And Christine is the one that enacts it in all the bank systems. Okay? Thank you for being there and for supporting me, because it's not easy to go up against this trend and not be ridiculed or dismissed or blocked by 5D consciousness beings who have a different narrative. I love you guys. See you on New Year's Eve, if not sooner. Take care. This is Patricia Cori, signing out.